All right, let's get going. This is the time of year that so many of us are looking forward to finally getting out of the house and get going on all of the things that we are passionate about, maybe adding new things to our life that we want to get passionate about, and getting out and not just living life, but actually participating in it. Especially with the months on end, seemingly unending, that we have been just sitting around doing nothing and hunkering down. It is time to finally get out and get going. But we need to be careful because what a lot of folks are focusing on right now is getting quote unquote back to normal. And that phrase can be dangerous because it can actually sabotage you and your progress towards that life full of passion and end up putting you right back where you don't want to be in that never ending cycle that you might have forgotten about because you've been out of it for a bit, but that never ending cycle of the same familiar old problem coming back again and again. And that might look different for different folks. Some folks have the same problem coming back again and again of their bodies holding them back. And that can come on in several different flavors. It can come up as your mind holding you back in those bad habits that you keep telling yourself you're going to stop. And then you find yourself right back in it again. We hear about this never ending cycle so often, and I know I've lived it. I'm sure a lot of you have too, where you are so fed up with not being able to participate in the life that you really want to be living. And you will no longer accept just living one day to the next. You want to actually participate physically, mentally, emotionally. You want to design the life of your dreams and actually participate in it, not just pin a bunch of stuff to a vision board and then whine, moan, and complain that it's not your reality. You want to actually bring it into your reality. So you dive in and you start doing all this stuff and getting going and getting the momentum until a sudden breakdown kicks you right back out of that flow and puts you right back where you started with that same old problem that you've come to accept as quote unquote normal. This is where the danger of back to normal comes in. And I'll go into this more in a bit about why that phrase can be detrimental to you. It can set you up for sabotage. So, how can we break free of that cycle before it drags you under again? That never ending cycle of the same old problem coming back up. How do we break free from that and get you to break through to your next level of a passion filled life that you really want to be living instead of facing another breakdown that stops you? If you're new to my world, welcome. I'm Dr. Vicky, channel chiropractor for people as well as pets. I'm a Reiki healer and a mind body coach. Well, all that means is I'm here to help you be your very best, wherever that is on your journey for you right now, and to help you feel empowered and able to take that next step at a higher level and get to your very best and stay there. Because it's not enough just to show you what it could look like. It's not enough just to pin it on the vision board. You got to take some actions to get there. I'm here to help you get to that life of your dreams. So, what is it about this never ending cycle that keeps dragging us back in? On the physical side, for a lot of us, we have spent months or years doing things a certain way. For the past several months, a lot of us have been sitting on the couch or sitting in not the most ergonomically correct work from home setups, also known as your kitchen table, maybe with a crappy wooden chair. Exhibit A. And we've been doing this for a really long time. Our bodies have gotten used to these bad habits. And then we change and we go run out and do these awesome, good physical activities that are good for us. Maybe we start a new workout program, we start a new class, we decide we're going to go on vacation and hike up all these mountains, maybe go on vacation and swim some beaches. Well, guess what? Your body is not used to that activity because you've been doing something completely different for months on end and it is not prepared. And so many folks end up going from, they try to go from 0 to 90 miles an hour, and there's a breakdown that happens somewhere along the way because the body was not prepared. Okay, so let's talk about the mental side because there's always more than just the physical. Even if you are experiencing a physical challenge, it is always more than just the physical. We have to dig deeper to find that real reason. Because for a lot of folks, they understand the concept that if you spent months on end going at 0 miles an hour and now you want to go 90, you got to take some gradual steps to get there. You can't just floor it and expect the car not to fall apart. This is where the mental piece comes in. We got to look at the three. It's physical, it's mental, and it's emotional. So if we're looking at the mental piece, that's the next layer down. We know that we need to ease into things and we plan for that. And we plan to do better about setting boundaries with our activities and not overextending ourselves so that we're not burning ourselves out before we ever get started. But what we tend to find happens is we set ourselves up, we plan for success and getting out of these bad habits, but we find ourselves right back in them again. How did I end up back on the couch for the past 4 hours on a Saturday when I meant to go for a run? How did this happen? We set ourselves for getting out of these habits and yet we turn around and we're right back in them again. Why is it that even though we have that mental focus that we want to break these habits, what is it that keeps dragging us back? Because those bad habits are setting us up for the physical breakdown. We got to go one more level deeper than the mental. We got to look at the emotional. Everything we do subconsciously to satisfy a base emotional need. Our very powerful minds, our subconscious minds, run over 90% of our habits and patterns. They rule everything, and our conscious mind's job is to bring in logic to justify those emotional decisions. Some of us know this all too well with shopping sprees. But everything we do is to satisfy one of the core emotional needs. And that can be safety or certainty, which can show up as going back to the familiar because what's familiar has not killed you yet. Your subconscious mind's only job is to help you survive from one day to the next. It is not to help you thrive along the way. So all it can do is run like a computer, run what you're doing right now against past experiences. It has no concept of future. It can only compare what it's experiencing now to what it has experienced in the past. And it says, if this is something that I have experienced or is very similar to something I have experienced before, I know it didn't kill me, so it's okay. If this is too far distant from something I have experienced in the past, if it's too new to me and too unfamiliar, now we got a challenge. Because your subconscious mind has no experience of it in the past. It doesn't know if it won't kill you. This is literally how it works. So to keep you safe and to keep you feeling more certain that things are going to go a certain way, it's going to put you right back into the old ways of doing things. So we will fall into what feels safe, not necessarily what's good for us, but what feels safe because it's familiar, because there's a level of certainty there. You know those folks that keep going back to the same crummy relationship? The other partner just has a different name and a different face each time, but it's the same crappy person over and over again. It's because on a subconscious level, they are familiar with what that kind of person is going to bring to the table. They know what to expect. There's a certain level of certainty there. That's why they keep going back subconsciously. Same thing happens with our bad habits. Another emotional need, core emotional need that our subconscious minds make decisions to satisfy is a level of variety, also known as drama. Oh, our drama llamas, they live here. The, as much as our minds love certainty, they do like a little excitement. We get a hit of dopamine, that nice feel good chemical in our brains when there's a little bit of variety, when there's a little bit of action. And if things are going too well, that's not exciting. It's supposed to be, but sometimes our minds say, no, I'm getting bored. I'm going to shake things up. I'm going to make drama. And if I can't find drama to subscribe to, I will create my own. This is how our minds work. So our minds will throw up some sort of crazy crisis or blow up something out of proportion to where it feels like a crazy crisis so that we go back to what's safe and certain, so that we go back to what's familiar of our old bad habits of ways of doing things. We also look to satisfy a core emotional need of validation. We're tribal peoples at our core. That prehistoric brain is still kicking in there in our subconscious. And it says for us to be okay, the tribe, the group, the community that we are a part of has to tell us that we are okay. Because if we are not okay within the group, we are outcast. And in prehistoric times, to be outcast from the group was to die. And remember, our subconscious minds are supposed to help us survive from one day to the next, not necessarily thrive. So, what this shows up as in the modern world is looking for validation, often in unhealthy ways, to make us feel like we're okay. I know this has shown up in myself with uh, words, with unnecessary apologizing. I've done a lot of self work on this. I'm not 100% on it yet, but I personally would look for ways that I would feel guilty about something. I would feel like something was my fault, even though it absolutely wasn't. It was something not in my responsibility at all. Nothing I had anything to do with, but I decided to take on the blame for it. And I would apologize all over myself because I was looking for the other person who I felt I had wronged to tell me I was okay. I gave all of my power over to them for this wrong that I created within myself that I didn't even do, but in my mind I did. And I'm looking to them to make me okay. This was a more recent realization for me. I'm still working on it. But we will look for ways to be quote unquote okay. And if you are doing something outside the norm within your group, maybe within the people in your house, or maybe doing something different within the group of your coworkers, whatever your group happens to be, if you're getting a little too far outside of that box, eventually some part in your brain, in your subconscious mind, is going to trigger and go, whoa, if we keep going down this path of getting outside this box, sooner or later they're going to tell us we're not okay. And if we're not okay, we're going to get kicked out of the tribe. So we better get back in line and get back in the box of doing things the way we always did, which guess what? If you're doing things the way we always did, you're going to keep getting the results that you always got. And if you felt like you were stuck and struggling and in that never-ending cycle of things falling apart, as soon as you start to do something new and good for you, if you keep doing what you always did, you're going to keep getting what you always got. So that's where validation can come in an unhealthy way, is we start to do some good things that might be different from what those around us are doing, and suddenly we feel guilty about it. Even if it's on a subconscious level, and we'll bring ourselves back to those habits and patterns that the group was doing, that we were doing with the group, so that we can feel okay with them. That also ties in to the fourth core emotional need that our subconscious mind looks to satisfy with everything that we do, which is connection. We want to feel connected to the people that matter in our lives. This can show up a lot by finding ways to meld with the group, even if you're not necessarily taking the same actions, but it's shown up as okay. In some groups that I've been in, at some point, sometimes these groups turn into bitch fests where we all get together and instead of doing what we were saying that we were going to do, whatever that activity was, instead it just turns into a session where someone starts complaining, someone else starts complaining to feel like they fit in, and eventually it turns into, oh, well, the only way that I can seem like I have something in common with these people is to find things to complain about. And what you speak is what your subconscious mind is going to focus on and look for more of. So if you're speaking all of the things that aren't working and the things that you can complain about, guess what? Your mind is going to find more things that aren't working that you can complain about. Because your mind is a flashlight, it will only show you what you focus it on. But there's more than just what's in that light beam. You've got to change your focus. So, everything we do on a subconscious level is to satisfy one of those core 4 emotional needs: the need for safety or certainty, the need for variety or drama, the need for validation and to feel like we're okay, and the need for connection with our group. All of this leads to actions that, if we're coming at them from an unhealthy way, from a dysfunctional way, it will lead to actions that sabotage your progress towards a life that you can feel passionate about. It will lead you to trade that passionate life that you really want to design for the familiar pains and problems that you've been dealing with over and over again and get you right back on that never-ending cycle. So, where is your focus? Is your focus on getting quote unquote back to normal? Because what has been normal for you? Is that something you really want to go back to? If what was normal for you was being in pain, feeling stuck, feeling like you're struggling, things not working, is that really what you want to go back to? To the quote unquote normal problems that just keep coming back up on that never ending cycle? Or are you ready to move forward with a passion for progress, for participating in that life that you can actually design instead of just living with what's handed to you, with just watching your life go by like a movie that you can't influence? Let's get ready to upgrade your focus so that you can get an upgraded journey and live that life that you can feel passionate about again. To do that, you need to be working with someone who can assist your physical body to be its very best so that you don't have those breakdowns, and also to coach you through empowering you with tools that you can use on your own on the mental and emotional side so that you can make progress towards that life that you can feel passionate about. Get you leveled up, get you upgraded, and move that journey up on the high road, because I promise the journey of your life, that view is a whole lot sweeter from that high road. So let's get you up there. If this makes sense to you, reach out to me. Let's chat and see if I'm that person that you should be working with. And if I'm not, I'll let you know so that you can move on to what is going to be the right next step. I'm here for you, whether that's with me or with someone else. Let's chat and find out what is going to be the next step for you to get you up on that high road and living life with passion for progress and a life you can absolutely love. Give me a call or send me a text message at 636 751 3150, and let's have a quick, no charge consult over the phone to find out if I'm the right fit for what you're looking for. Again, that is 636 751 3150. Or you can pop over to my website at completewellnesscc.com and click that tab that says Set Your Consult. All right. Enjoy your start to this new journey and let's get going. It's a little rainy today, but that's okay. We're still going to get going. Let's move up to your next level and a life that you can feel passionate about. Bye now.